Ladies and gentlemen, what is going on? Welcome to another edition of the Taking the Points NFL Betting Show. Little different setup here today. The guys at the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show let us come in their studio. I'm here, as always, with Coach Jay. We got him in Cleveland for the weekend. Coach, what's going on?
How you doing? It's good to be here.
Very good. Coach just wrapped up his interview a little bit ago. And as always, champion last week. I know there's a belt back here for G. Bush. He was wanting the belt, but champion last week, JJ.
Champion again. I mean,
Again.
not in a row. I'm not back stacking up wins or anything, but I have 2 or 3 weeks on my belt, under my belt right now. Grant, you have 0.
That's a big belt.
Yeah, but we're here.
I'll get one this week. This is the week. You guys are in Cleveland. We're going to go through the picks here. This is the week I'm going to get one. I'm sold. This is the week I get one.
I like your confidence.
Here we go. We'll get rolling. We've got Mikey in studio here with us as well. Again, Mikey, head producer of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show. We'll get some of his picks insight here as well. Mikey, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. It feels like we're renting out an Airbnb here, but could not be happier to have you guys in-house, and we're going to help some people win some money.
Absolutely. We'll start with Falcons Buccaneers here. Again, we got the phone going off the picks on the phone here this week. The Bucs are 2.5-point favorites. Over-under is currently at 37 in this game. Bucs, Falcons. JJ, I'm going to come to you here first. Baker Mayfield played a good defense last week. It didn't work out. Which side are you going in this game? And again, that over-under is sitting at 37, so it's pretty low.
I don't know about you guys, but the demise of Baker Mayfield is on its way. It is starting. It started last week. Not a good performance by Baker. I think it's going to carry over this week. When you look at all these games and you look at the spreads, for me anyway, I look at the win totals before the season even started. And you had the Atlanta Falcons up there high with an 8.5 win total. The Buccaneers were down there at 6.5. We were saying all the time, there's no way that the Buccaneers are going to win 6.5 games. That was our best bet of the week, the pre-show. And now here they come. I think they're going to start kind of slowly going downhill a little bit. I think the Falcons get a big win, and they're going to kind of like step up in that NFC South division.
I'm on the plus 2.5 here for the Falcons. I know it's in Tampa, but again, I'm with you. The Baker demise, he's going to start falling off here a little bit. Coach Jay, where are you leaning in this one?
What about Desmond Ridder? What about his demise? Is he going to finish the game? Are they going to go to Taylor Heineke? I mean, what do you guys? Baker Mayfield's better than Desmond Ridder, right? So you got to take the Buccaneers. Lay the points. Take the Buccaneers. I mean, it's not that hard. The Falcons are struggling to complete a forward pass right now. They are struggling to complete it. They have Bijan Robinson, who's a great player, but Tampa Bay has a good run defense. Vita Vea is going to stack up that running in the middle. They got 2 linebackers that really run, and the Buccaneers will shut down Atlanta, and the Buccaneers will win, and it'll be a low-scoring game.
We were just talking about it. You think the winner of that division can go 7-10 and win that division, right?
I think, yeah. I mean, well, they have to play each other, so I think 8-9 probably more realistic.
Desmond Ridder hasn't looked good. Kyle Pitts is finally producing a little bit. He had like 80 yards a week or 2 ago. I mean,
One game.
Finally, I mean.
No, he's good, and they need him to produce. They have to have the play-action game working. The problem is Desmond is not very confident right now, nor is the team confident in him right now. You can just sense it. I saw the Washington game firsthand. I watched that entire game last week, and it wasn't pretty for the Atlanta offense.
How long do you think they give Desmond Ridder? You mentioned Taylor Heineke. How long do you think they give him to continue week by week if he continues to struggle?
They're still in it as far as the NFC South is concerned. So I think another game or 2, if they really are abysmal on offense again for the next couple of weeks, they'll probably make a change and try to get a spark with Heineke, because they'll still be in it even if they lose at Tampa and maybe even lose next week. They'll still be in it. So, but they do have to do something to get their offense going.
They have to get it going. Next game on the slate, Bills at Patriots. The Patriots are currently 7.5-point underdogs at home. Bill Belichick. JJ, stuff in New England is not going well. You've got Mac Jones. Every week he starts. By the time halftime, third quarter comes around, he's benched.
Yeah, I mean, well, they scored last week, right? They finally scored a touchdown in 3 games, I think, last week, finally. I put something on the board. I mean, I don't know how you can back New England against Buffalo. I know it's in New England. You can maybe make a case of that. But still, as an 8-point favorite in a divisional opponent on the road, that you're getting 8 points, I mean, you have to go on that side. And Buffalo's just rolling right now. I know they struggled against New York. Maybe you could call it the jet lag, but they're NFL players. I mean, I think that they'll overcome that. But just the way that New England's been playing so bad on offense and defense, you got to go with Buffalo here.
So on BetCheck, the line is currently 7.5. Don't you think that is somewhat low? Again, I know it's a touchdown, right? But with the way they're playing, I think they have 1 win. Wouldn't you expect that line to be more towards the 9-10 area there?
You do, but I think a lot of it has to do with the divisional race. Again, this opened at 8.5 points, so now it's going down. But I think people are taking like the home or the home dog, basically, and they're thinking, and a lot of people like to do that. So I think a lot of public money is coming in on the New England Patriots right now, just in that kind of spot. But I just can't bet against Buffalo right now, or bet against New England.
I'm on the Bills to cover 7.5 in this game. I'm also going to go over 40 in this game. Jay, thoughts on this game?
Got to check the injury report for Buffalo. They're banged up on defense really bad, and I think that's probably why the line is lower than it should be. And offensively, they're still not clicking like you think the Buffalo Bills should click. I mean, they only scored 14 against the Giants last week. I know they had jet lag, JJ. That plane ride was really tough. They sat in first class, leaned their chairs back, and had a bunch of peanuts and had a couple beers. But I think they'll be fine. But I just think there's something shady there. But I do think the Buffalo Bills are a much better team than New England, obviously. And I would take Buffalo, and I would take the under.
Browns Colts. We just talked about it in the last segment. Browns are 3.5-point favorites. I'm not going to spend too much time on it. I'm taking the Browns to cover. JJ, I'm coming back to you. You said you're on the Colts this week. Am I right?
If I had to make a pick, yeah, I'm gonna take the Colts. I think this is a letdown spot for the Browns, unfortunately. I think it's gonna be a lot closer than people think. I think Gardner Minshew, you talked about him maybe throwing an interception this week. I really think that they're gonna really try to keep this game on the ground and try to do what they can to not have Gardner Minshew throw any passes. And hopefully Jonathan Taylor and Zach Moss can do something. So less passes. I like the under pass attempts for Gardner Minshew this game, but I think it's gonna be low scoring and it's gonna be a tight one. So I like the under and I like the Colts.
I mean, I know you got to ease the guy back, but they paid Jonathan Taylor in the first game. I mean, it was their backup that had more carries in him, and I think last week I don't even know if he did anything crazy. So, where are you leaning in this game, Coach?
Well, JJ's right, though. They do have to run the ball, and they can run the ball because they have a pretty good rushing attack and a really good center. The issue is Braden Smith's out at right tackle, and who's the right tackle going to block is the left defensive end. And who's the left defensive end for Cleveland? That's Myles Garrett. So Indianapolis has no chance.
Uh-oh. Hang on now.
You don't want me to say that about the Cleveland game.
No.
0-2 on my no chances.
Please do not. For the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show listeners that are new here, the past 2 times Coach Jay has said a team has no chance to win. He said the Bears had no shot against the Commanders. They won. And last week he said our Cleveland Browns had no shot against the 49ers and they won. So take that with a grain of salt.
I'm good on the other ones, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, sure. I just think that matchup right there is brutal. Eventually, Gardner Minshew is going to have 3rd and 8 and have to throw it, and they're going to have to chip them. They're going to have to use guys in their protection to help out, which will give you less players in the route. So I think the Browns win easily.
Pop, why don't you think that Jonathan Taylor's getting more involved now that he's been back for 2 games? Is it like a preseason kind of a thing for him, getting the feel of the offense a little bit?
I think a couple things. One, Moss has been running really well. He's a good player too, so it's not bad to have a good 1-2 punch like that to keep them both fresh. You don't have to have one bell cow like a Henry. Most teams are utilizing 2 backs all the time. It's like when here at Cleveland, when Chubb and what's his name, Kareem Hunt,
Yep.
They were a good 1-2 punch, and a lot of teams utilize 2 backs.
Mikey, we're going to come back to you here. Official pick for Browns Colts. Let's hear it.
I like the Browns to cover. I agree with Coach. This defense is just significantly better in my mind than Indianapolis' offense. And at the end of the day, it's only
Google the
3.5
right tackle
points.
for the Indianapolis Colts right
He's
now.
not starting. Blake Trainor's out.
Google the backup.
Yeah, it's not pretty. It is not pretty.
That's a major issue, and I went through that. I've had tackles get hurt, and I've had to play backup tackles against premier pass rushers, and it's not fun.
Yeah, you got me nervous, Coach, with this bullshit 0% chance to win, no shot. I'm nervous. But we will be in the downtown Cleveland BetCheck Sportsbook tomorrow to watch that and all the other games. A lot of fun. Next game on the slate, Lions-Ravens. JJ, we were texting. I know you haven't given your survivor pick yet, but if you want to go ahead and give it, you got on me for the Dolphins one, and obviously it was terrible. It didn't work out. But this game, coming to this game for your survivor pick, seems pretty bold.
It's not only my survivor pick, it's my favorite play of the NFL year so far.
Wow.
It's the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens are going to win outright tomorrow against the Lions. I think they're going to do it pretty single-handedly too. I think the Lions are going to fight back. We know that Dan Campbell likes to come back a little bit and play hard, but this is a game where the Ravens are really going to kind of take a step up in this division for AFC North and get this big win. I understand that they haven't had a couple good wins earlier, but we're going to see Lamar Jackson do some work.
No David Montgomery in this game. Jahmyr Gibbs is going to get most of the workload here. How do you feel about this being his favorite play? Oh, the Lions are 5-1, aren't they? 5-1?
Yeah.
How do you feel about this being his favorite play that the Ravens are going to come out and win this game?
I don't understand why. First of all, he said single-handedly. What did that mean?
Single-handedly win this game?
Yeah, I don't know what that means. Who's single-handedly?
Well, I'm just saying single-handedly.
Okay.
I'm
Well,
single-handedly
I think it's a solid pick. I mean, it's a strong take. I agree, but I'm taking Detroit. I really like Detroit's team, offensively, defensively. Baltimore, I know they played better against Tennessee in London. I'm not convinced on this offense yet. I'm not convinced that Lamar, they have that true gel, that connection, that confidence in consistently moving the ball and making plays. I like Detroit. I like what Aaron Glenn does as a defensive coordinator. I like Hutchinson as a pass rusher. They good personnel. And Jared Goff is playing at a really high efficiency rate right now. He doesn't make a lot of mistakes. He gets the ball to the right people. Amara St. Brown is a mother. I mean, he's a tough son of a gun, and they have good players. And even if Montgomery doesn't play, they got Gibbs, and they got my guy Craig Reynolds from Kutztown who can take over the lead back role.
The thing that scares me about the Ravens, JJ, and we talked about it last week on our show, is like their receivers. I mean, they can't catch a cold. They drop passes left and right.
Zay Flowers played pretty good last week. He played pretty good. I know. I got it. I got
to have the pick of the week, though.
Look, but I'm also looking at the numbers. I'm looking at the betting aspect of it, too. Right now, the Ravens came in as a -3 favorite, right? And there's a ton of money pouring in on Detroit. It's a fan favorite. It's a public favorite. That line isn't budging at all. That tells me a lot right there. Vegas is more than comfortable right now taking in all the money on the Detroit money line right now than they are moving the line in their favor. So
over-unders at 43 in that Ravens-Lions game. Would you go over or under 43?
I think this is going to be an over game, more importantly, because I think the Ravens offense is going to click this week. I think they're going to do a lot better offensively than we think, and I think Detroit's going to match them up a little bit. So I would take that over 43.
Raiders at Bears. We've got Brian Hoyer starting this week for the Raiders. Coach, Brian Hoyer, how are you feeling about them against just a Justin Fields-less Chicago Bears team? Is that going to help them or hurt them? We don't know because Fields has been off and on all year. Excuse me, I forget the Bears backup. Mikey, I don't know if you have this pulled up. Bears backup that's starting, I forget.
Badgent or Badgent?
Badgent, who's
from
out
Shepherd
of
University.
Division II quarterback, yeah.
From Shepherd, yeah. He had a good preseason. He did. He made the team against all odds. Obviously, he shows a lot, but struggled a little bit in his time against Minnesota last week. Threw a horrible pick there at the end of the game, but had some good plays. But I got to take the veteran experience in Brian Hoyer to win this game and probably win it easy.
I don't know if you saw this in that Bears game. Before he threw that pick, he made one of the most incredible throws I think I've ever seen. Though He backed up on his back foot, threw it across the body on a dig route, and I was like, where the hell is he throwing? And it was a completion for like 30 yards. I'm like, what the?
He's got some talent, but I'm going to go with the veteran and the Raiders and Josh Jacobs. They just too much for the Bears.
You've mentioned playing good in the preseason, and that haunts me because we saw how good DTR was in the preseason. He looks terrible, and Kenny Pickett lit it up in the preseason. Everybody was swearing that the Steelers were going to be all mighty and bold this year, and they're 3-2, but their offense hasn't looked good. Kenny Pickett hasn't looked good. So I'm with you, Coach. I'm taking Brian Hoyer. I'm back in the veteran. I'm taking the Raiders. JJ, you're going to be bold. You're going to take the Bears at home to cover plus 2.5 for the win outright, or you're going to go with the Raiders?
Ooh, it's a tough one. I'm going with the veteran. I'm going with Brian Hoyer. I think he's going to get it done. I don't like the Bears this year. I don't think Badgent or whatever his name is can get the ball out to DJ Moore this game. But, he did show glimpses of good throws. Defensively, I don't think they're good enough, though. I think Davante Adams is going to eat this week.
I'm with you. Davante Adams doesn't look happy. I mean, we've seen, right, his production has gone down. Coach Jay, we'll come to you about Davante Adams. Obviously, phenomenal player, right?
Yeah.
Would you like to see him go somewhere else where he can be more ball dominant, or would you like to see him stay with Jimmy G in Vegas, see if they can work it out?
Well, obviously, there's a lot of teams that need receivers. I mean, a lot of them, and a lot of good teams. I mean, just imagine if he went to Pittsburgh, how much he'd help Kenny Pickett out. But great players are hard to find. I don't see the Raiders getting rid of him unless they get a heck of a deal. But he's fine where he's at.
I'm coming back to you here. Next game on the slate, Commanders at Giants. Last week, you actually faded your Commanders for the first time all year, and they won.
I know.
Are you going back to them this week? Again, they are currently 3-point favorites against the Giants. The Giants, as you know, are banged up.
I am. Giants are banged up. Daniel Jones probably going to play, which will help out the Giants quite a bit. But I think the Commanders' front can slow down Saquon in the running game and force Daniel Jones to throw it. And we all know that when they are forced to throw it, they're not very good. The receiving core is weak. They're not getting Waller involved as much as they probably would like. And I just think the Commanders are playing pretty good right now. They're playing. They got a big win last week, and they're going to get the victory.
I'm going to pull a Lee Corso here. Not so fast. I'm going with the Giants.
I'm on the Giants, too. This
is a weird spot. I mean, I think this spread should be a lot higher from what we've seen out of the Giants. I think the Commanders should be favored by 4.5, 5 points. I know it's a divisional game. They're at home. But I think the spread is just way too low. I think Daniel Jones is going to find a way to get it done. I think this is going to be a great spot for the Giants.
The Giants they can't score. They just can't score. They don't have any offense. I mean, who are they going to throw it to?
They didn't have any. They didn't have.
I know. I just can't figure it out. I've watched them. I've watched all their games on offense. They just can't score.
Saquon is back.
They're a ball control team. They're a ball control team. They need to have like 12 to 14 play drives for them to score. They can't get any chunk plays. What's their longest game this year? 12, and is a scramble by Daniel Jones probably. The only chance for them to have a long play of 20-plus yards is if Saquon breaks it. That's their issue.
You're not a fan of Darius Slayton or Wan'Dale Robinson?
I mean, I like them as people, but not as far as making big plays. And the biggest issue the Commanders have is their secondary play, but they don't have anybody to attack them.
I mean, the Giants also have Darren Waller, and he hasn't done anything this year for the Giants.
I mean, that's why I'm taking the Commanders. Sorry.
Oh, I'm on the Giants. I like the under too. I think I like the under more so than I do like the Giants. But yeah.
Over-under is currently at 37.5 in that game, so it's pretty low.
Yeah, well, I'll still take the under. I think it's that low for a reason.
Cardinals at Seahawks. Cardinals are 8.5-point underdogs on the road in Seattle. Seattle last week played Cincinnati, as we know, or Cincinnati Bengals here in Ohio. Kind of a letdown game for them. Geno threw, I believe, 3 interceptions last week. I think they cover minus 8.5 here, Coach. I think it's a get-right game for Seattle. The Browns go to Seattle next week after this game, but I think they get back on track and win this game pretty easily. Josh Dobbs, great start to the year. The wheels started to fall off a little bit, which you expect. I mean, he's not a starter in this league, right? He's a backup. So, thoughts on the Seahawks in this game against the Cardinals?
I like Seattle. I've liked their team the whole entire year. I just don't know which Geno you're going to get. You know what I mean? He can look really good, throw for 350 and 4 touchdowns, and the next week throw 3 picks. So I'm banking on the good Geno Smith this week. I love their running backs. Mentioned Kenneth Walker before and Charbonnet. I don't know if Charbonnet's playing. He might be hurt. And they have great receivers and they have a good tight ends group. So I like Seattle. I like the over.
Some good news coming out of Arizona. Kyler Murray is back at practice in a limited capacity. So hopefully we see him back. Obviously not this week, but here soon. JJ, Seahawks or Cardinals?
You're not going to like this one, but I think Arizona might win this game outright.
They might. I mean, you're right, JJ.
I think they could.
Every
win this
team
game
has
outright.
a chance to might win a game.
They might win a game, but I like Arizona. I think Josh Dobbs has nothing to lose. You say that he's a backup, but right now he's a starter. Like he's a starter right now, and he showed good things though too.
If Kyler Murray was healthy, he would be a backup.
Have you seen his TikToks? I love Josh. I got to coach Josh for a little bit in training camp with the Jags. He's a great guy.
We were talking about it a couple weeks ago. My favorite one was when he tried to go in the pro shop, couldn't get his own jersey. Starting quarterback, jersey's not there.
There was one too where he threw some shade at one of the defenders about, I think who was it, Micah Parsons, where he was going to throw darts at him all the time, and then he was dodging darts out in the driveway. That was a good one too. I like Josh Dobbs, man. He's actually my fantasy starter this week. I think he's going to do okay.
Oh.
But maybe there's a little bit of biasism there for me with taking that pick. But again, I just think 8.5 points though is too much. Maybe they don't win. Divisional game.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I don't like the 8.5 either.
I don't think both these teams. I don't think Seattle's good enough to be an 8.5 point favorite against anybody. Let's just put it that way.
So what are you in fantasy? 0-6? If he's your starting quarterback, you might be in trouble.
Grant, this is my best fantasy football year. I'm in 3 leagues. I'm in 5-1 in one league, 5-1 in another league, and 3-3 in my bigger one.
I would assume you're good starting quarterbacks on a bye then, right? Or have you been riding out with Josh Dobbs this whole year?
No, it's actually I threw in Josh Dobbs a couple times. I actually threw it. I had Dak Prescott a couple times where I put him out.
He's got a bye.
Yeah, he's got a bye, so I got Josh Dobbs in. Yeah.
Coach, we're talking fantasy. How have you done in fantasy so far this year?
I'm 1-5 in 2 leagues.
Ugh, brutal.
Stink.
Not good.
I drafted Cooper Kupp first in my first league, and the next day he pulled his hamstring. Got put on IR. I'm a bad luck charm for some of these guys.
Mikey, you into fantasy? How's your team looking this year? I'm sure you're into fantasy, right?
I am. I actually finished dead last in our UCSS league last season. I had to do stand-up at Hilarities, and that was quite the experience. The goal is not to finish last, and right now I am in 3rd place, but I have the most points in the league. So
Did you say you had to do stand-up?
I did. I'll show you. It's a little too vulgar for
awesome.
YouTube, but
That
I can
is
show
right.
you guys off air.
You did good. I remember watching that. You did good. So
I think I was kind of funny.
You performed well.
I only have enough for one routine, though. I can't do it again. I'm all my jokes done. It's like using all your trick plays on one drive, Coach.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
It's tough.
Next game on the slate here, Steelers at Rams. The Steelers are currently 3-point dogs on the road. Jay, where are you leaning in this game? Cooper Kupp is back. I believe his first game, he had 9-10 catches. He's looked real good. Where are you leaning in this game? Again, it's in LA.
I'm taking the Rams. I think the Rams are playing pretty good. I love the combination of Stafford, Kupp, and obviously Puka. But I think Cooper Kupp still might come back and win the receiving title. This guy is unbelievable. He's unbelievable, right? And I just think the Rams will score at least 24 points, and I don't think the Steelers have enough firepower to catch them.
Deontay Johnson's back for Pittsburgh this week. Should play. He's good. He's a good receiver. He's
That'll
a good
help.
weapon.
And
Kenny
quarterback
Pickett.
to throw it to him.
That'll help.
Exactly. Kenny Pickett's.
And it's a great environment, a great stadium. It's a fast turf, so I'd like the over in this game, and I like what is the over under? 40?
Over under's 44.
44.
44. JJ, over under on this game, and then pick your side here. It's close spread. Should be a good game, but I'm going Rams here.
I think it's going to be an under, and I'm on the Rams. Yeah, I'm on the Rams as well, but I'm on the under. I think it's going to be very, very slow. I think the Rams win, but it's going to be 20 points. I don't think Kenny Pickett's going to be able to put up 13. I've been anti-Kenny Pickett this whole year, so.
I think he has something against Kenny Pickett.
I've just been fading him all year. It's been okay.
Do you think Kenny Pickett could be a long-term answer for them at quarterback? I think
Yeah,
we
they got to
touched
give him help. Everybody's yelling at Kenny Pickett. Get a receiver open, for God's sakes. Give him a tight end that can run a route. Give him a pass, a line that can protect, and let's get a back that can make some things happen. All right? Give him some help. He has no help right now.
Is their offense that boring? I mean, they got George Pickens, Deontay Johnson.
George Pickens is not a separating type guy. He's a long strider, build-up speed type guy, makes circus catches on fades and back shoulder fades. He's not a guy that's going to get open in the slot and work it. They don't have a guy to do that. They need somebody in between the hashes. They need a tight end. They need a slot receiver that can work. They don't have anybody.
Is it too early in his career to call Najee Harris a bust? Or a Trent Richardson 2.0?
Yeah, I mean, he's just who he is. He's a good back. He can catch. He's just not very explosive. He's big. He can get the tough yards. He's just not a guy that you would want to take. He's just not exciting, but he's a good back.
I thought he was quicker coming out of college, Bama. JJ, I think Najee Harris, I thought he was quicker coming in the NFL. I just look slow. And seeing, Pittsburgh Steelers, talking to some of their fans, seeing them on Twitter, they're ready to move on from Najee Harris already. They like
It's
Warren.
hard when you get the ball and there's like three guys getting ready to tackle you every time.
Very true.
Maybe give him a little hole.
I think
Try to give him a little space. Let's try to create a new line of scrimmage going forward and then maybe have a cutback lane where he can run.
I just don't know what happened from his rookie season to now. I mean, he had a great rookie season. There was a lot of promise there, but now he's kind of like sliding off a little bit. And I don't know.
I like their TJ Warren, their backup. I think I like him better, honestly. He's more agile. He's quicker. I think in that offense, right? You say George Pickens doesn't create separation. I feel like he's open a lot. And Kenny Pickett just can't give him the ball.
Maybe feel like it?
Maybe I'm wrong, but it's how I feel. It's how I feel.
Brian might be. But then he's got to have protection too. There's a lot of flaws in that offense right now. They're still right there in the AFC
They are.
North. I mean, it's crazy. And they have a good enough defense where if Kenny Pickett and they get Deontay back, if they can start to slowly get better and better, they will be a factor in this division.
They're 3-2 without Cam Hayward, too, who's a huge anchor on the defensive line.
Huge.
So when they come back in, you're right, Coach. They're right in the thick of it. Packers at Broncos this week. The Broncos, JJ, are 1.5-point dogs at home, which I know Jordan Love has been playing good, whatever you want to say, but with what they've been cooking in Denver, you're really going to sell me on a 1.5-point line for the Denver Broncos with all the turmoil with Sean Payton and Russell Wilson in Denver?
You got a coin on you?
I don't. You just flip it, yeah.
It's just a coin flip. This game is a coin flip. I can't take either side. But, I'll go with the Packers here. I think I'll go with the Packers overall. I think they're just better offensively and defensively for the Broncos. They've just been terrible.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to take the Broncos this week, Coach. I'm going to take them at home. Where are you going in this game? Because JJ, I'm fading you. I'm taking Denver.
Yeah, I can't do that. I'm sorry. I can't take a team that tackles as poorly as Denver's defense tackles. I'm sorry. Green Bay will run the ball and have some success until Denver shows me that they can actually tackle somebody effectively and stop another offense. I'm taking the other team. I'm always going to bet against Denver because of their defense. Not because of Russell, not because of Coach Payton. I just think their defense is horrific.
Over-under is 45 in that game. I'm going to take the over there. I think both teams put up points. I mean, you've got Cortland Sutton, Jerry Jeudy. You have weapons in Denver, right?
Yeah, take over is a good play in that game, too.
I love the over. I love the over in this one, too.
You have
a sneaky good spot for it.
Have to take it. It seems, for these two offenses who have struggled, it might seem a little bit high, 45 for the bettors out there. But, again, I'm all over that over, and I'm taking it there. Chargers at Chiefs. Another interesting game on the slate, 425. Before we get into a very good Sunday Night Football matchup, the Chiefs are 5.5-point favorites. Justin Herbert, I've been critical of Justin Herbert. Mikey, I don't know if you've seen any of this. He's good, don't get me wrong, but I believe a stat just came out. Mikey, I don't know if you have this stat, but fourth quarter turnovers. Justin Herbert is terrible when it comes to the fourth quarter. Coach, thoughts on Justin Herbert? And again, 5.5-point dogs. You're playing the Chiefs. How do you see them performing in this game?
I agree. I was disappointed in Justin against the Cowboys especially. You can't miss those open throws, and I don't think their line's playing very good. I like the Chiefs a lot. I think defensively, you always talk about Patrick Mahomes and obviously and Kelsey and all the bells and whistles they have there, but the defense is really good. And I think they're good enough to stop Eckler. Eckler couldn't get any room at all to run against the Cowboys, whose run defense isn't even that good. The Chiefs' run defense is better, and they'll stuff Eckler and force Herbert to throw, and he's going to struggle. They can't protect.
What about you, JJ? Are you a Justin Herbert believer, buyer, drinking the Kool-Aid, or are you disappointed in him as well?
I am going with the Chargers on the money line this week, man. They have a good track record. They keep it close every time they play against City. They do win. I think this is a spot where we saw the Chargers on the Monday Night Football game primetime spot. A lot of them saw the struggles happen. They're going to jump right onto the Patrick Mahomes bandwagon. Hopefully they get this win. But I think this is a good spot to take the Chargers with the points, possibly even win this game outright. Maybe a good teaser piece too for the people that like teasers. But I like the Chargers here.
Over under in this game is pretty high. Obviously, two high flying offenses. It's at 48. You're going over,
Way over.
Coach?
Yeah, I'm going to go over as well.
When it comes to Justin Herbert, I want to go back to him real quick.
Actually, I'm going to go under. I'm going to switch.
Are
that.
you?
I think the Chiefs' offense has not been quite as dominant as people think. I think the receiving core is struggling a little bit. And I think the Chargers, like I said, their offensive line play has not been very good. Their tight ends aren't very effective. And losing Mike Williams is a big deal.
It is. My favorite game on the slate this week, I know your favorite play was in that Ravens-Lions game. Dolphins-Eagles, Sunday Night Football, Coach. Should be a phenomenal game. It's in Philly. The Dolphins are currently 3-point dogs. Jalen Hurts has been struggling a little bit recently. They just lost to the Jets. How are you feeling about this game? I'm taking the Dolphins here. I am. I know you and the Vikings. There's something about me and the Dolphins this year. I love that high-flying offense. You just talked about them a little bit ago. The defense has some holes they got to fill. They got to be better. Obviously, Jalen Hurts is going to be hungry for a comeback game, but I'm taking the Dolphins on the road, and this is one of the Dolphins' signature wins. I'm not just taking them to cover. I'm taking them to win this game.
Yeah, that's a good pick. I can't argue with it, but I'm taking the Eagles at home. I love the Dolphins, and I would not be surprised if this is a track meet and the Dolphins win by 3 touchdowns. But I just think the way the Eagles are built, their front four, they can get pressure on two with 4 guys, and they can disguise their coverages. They can keep somebody over the top of Tyreek. They can disguise their cover 3, their cover 2, their cover 4s, but they get pressure with the big 4. Fletcher Cox, Sweat, and Jalen Carter is going to play this week, so that's a huge, huge one. And Hassan Reddick. Those guys can get after the quarterback, and they will.
Coach, I want to ask you, thoughts on Mike McDaniel? He seems like he's young, obviously, but the energy that he brings, some of the clips, they're just odd, but in a good way. It seems like he connects to his players. He brings the swag. He always has the kicks he brings to every game, or his shoe game is on point. Mike McDaniel seems like a guy where if I was a player, I would love to play for Mike McDaniel.
Yeah. Do you think that swag would work as well if he's coaching the Giants right now and they didn't have anybody and they couldn't score a point? Or just because they have Tyreek Hill, Waddle, Mozart?
I would take Mike McDaniel over. If you're asking, I would take Mike McDaniel over Brian Dable.
You would?
I would.
Dable did a hell of a job at Buffalo now. Right?
Yeah, he did a hell of a job last year with the Giants.
He did
With
a
that
hell of a
same
job with the
almost
Giants.
offense.
So that's
So,
debatable.
let me.
But anyway, my point is he's done a great job, don't get me wrong, but he does have some incredible skill to work with.
Counter question before we get to JJ's thoughts on this game. Do you think if Brian Dable was in Miami, they would still be as good as they are? Just because of the talent they have?
Yeah.
Interesting. JJ?
I think Mike McDaniel, though, is a top 5 offensive play caller, though, in the league right now. I mean, it does help having all those guys.
He's
but-
proven it, yeah.
Yeah. But no, this one is a weird one. And again, I think this is a trappy line. As much as I want to take the Dolphins and agree with you, because I've been a Dolphin fan too this whole time, I think I got to go the Eagles here. It's a weird line. It's -1, -1.5. You saw the Eagles struggle against the Jets. They just lost to the New York Jets. People are going to be like, the Dolphins are plus money. What are we doing here? I mean, that's a spot for them. That's exactly what they did against the Buffalo Bills. You're falling in that same trap, man. It's kind of crazy, but I think the Eagles are going to win this ball game.
The Eagles, the way they play offense is they're a ball control team, right? And they can convert on third down, unlike the Giants. And what they do, they have 2 weeks ago, they had 5 drives against the Rams, 19 plays, 17 plays, 14 plays, 12 plays, 10-play drives. Last week, their opening drive against the Jets was 19 plays. So this is their best defense, is that type of offense to keep Tyreek on the field, on the bench, and keep their defense fresh, where their front 4 will have energy. Now, if it's flip-flopped, if they have a lot of 3-and-outs, this could be a blowout by Miami. If the defense of the Eagles gets tired and they're on the field all the time, it could be a tough day. But I believe the Eagles control the clock, control the tempo of the game, and the defense stays fresh and they're able to get after Tua.
That's how you beat the Dolphins. Keep them off the field, keep the high-flying offense off the field, right? So one more game on the slate, and this is a game, Coach, I know you always chirp me about picking games where we don't know who's going to play with injuries and stuff. Monday Night Football, Niners and Vikings. CMC is questionable. Debo is questionable. The Vikings are plus 7-point underdogs at home. JJ, you're taking the Vikings, aren't you?
No.
No.
I'm not taking the Vikings this week. I can't do it. I can't take primetime Kirk. I think primetime Kirk is going to struggle this week against San Fran's defense. I think San Francisco's going to come out to play a little tougher. I think they're going to get a much-needed win after last week's debacle.
How funny would it be if the one week you don't pick the Vikings, they come out on Monday Night Football and they get it done?
Hey, they wouldn't shock me, man. They're a fun team to bet on. They are a fun team to bet on, but I can't bet on this week.
Coach?
This game is rough for the Vikings. It's going to be hard. The only way to beat the 49ers, you got to run the ball against them, and the Vikings can't run the ball. So if you're going to be one-dimensional against the 49ers, you have no chance. Their pass rush is way too good. They're way too dominant, and Minnesota's offensive line is not very good. They can't run the ball, and then losing Justin Jefferson, the ability to get open quick in short spaces and intermediate passes is critical. They don't have the receivers now to get open, and it's going to be a long day for Minnesota's offense, in my opinion. I think this is a pretty simple one for San Fran.
You can't use that the ultimate correct pick on the San Francisco 49ers again, right? Because that sounded like a good pitch.
Yeah, I mean,
it's a great sales pitch.
I mean, I think it's an easy play. Personally, I think San Fran wins this game easy. It's fast track for San Fran, and they have great receivers. Even if Devo doesn't play, they got Ayuk, and Jennings is a good blocker, and I think Mason is a really good back, even if Christian McCaffrey doesn't play. The issue, Trent Williams, if he doesn't play, I don't know who their backup is, but that could be a hurtful one. But I think Purdy gets back on track, and the 49ers defense just dominates.
You got to stop throwing around easy play. We got your teams that are easy plays got to perform before we start throwing around easy plays out here.
You got to have some conviction. I can't be like JJ. Well, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to flip a coin. Anybody can win this game.
As you guys
game. I like my nuts on the table for the Ravens pick this week. I'm all over the Ravens.
I like that one.
That's going to be a fun one to sweat out tomorrow in the sportsbook. Again, guys, later today, this is going to be coming out tomorrow, but we're going to be at Thistledown today. Tomorrow we'll be downtown. Come catch us at that VIP booth at the BetJack Sportsbook all day. Going to sweat out that game. The Survivor picks. JJ, you're going Ravens, right?
I'm going Ravens. Going Ravens.
Coach had texted us, to his credit, guys. I know this didn't get out. He had said Jaguars. So this might be a bonus Survivor pick, but Coach is we're going to consider him moving on. But if you've got one more for us, Coach, this Sunday, this week, who wins, which team is a lock?
I would take the Raiders.
Wow. With Brian Hoyer.
Brian Hoyer against the Bears with Shepherd Quarterback University. I just think that the Devontae, Josh Jacobs, they just have more talent than the Bears right now, and I think the Raiders is a good play.
Mikey, we got to get one Survivor pick out of you this week. Again, appreciate you guys having us here in studio. Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, fantastic stuff. We got to get one Survivor pick from you. Which NFL team is a lock to win this week?
I know JJ said he thinks Arizona might win straight up. I think after the way Seattle dominated in the stats against Cincinnati last week and lost, I think they're going to absolutely lay an ass kicking on Arizona. Give me the Seahawks.
I like it.
Fading you, JJ.
That's okay. That's okay.
It seems like a
Actually,
good strategy.
I was
from
going
what
to
I've
take
heard.
Seattle,
sides.
but I'd already taken Seattle, so I couldn't take them again.
There you go. Also, Grant, you asked for the Justin Herbert stat earlier.
Yes.
He has 13 career interceptions in the fourth quarter of one-score games. That is 5 more than any other quarterback since he entered the league in 2020.
That's unbelievable.
It's terrible.
You're a smart guy, Grant. I give you credit.
It's bad, right? Like, I know he's their franchise quarterback now. They paid him, right? But, I mean, that's an alarming stat. You make your money, bread and butter, winning games when it matters, right?
That is an alarming stat. You are correct.
So we'll see what happens there. They got to get it together. He's got to get it together. They got to start winning some games. Staley is there.
It's not a good week to get it together against the Kansas City Chiefs defense, man. The Chiefs defense is really good.
They are really good. Guys, catch us this weekend, all weekend in Cleveland. JJ, Coach, we appreciate you guys coming in.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Bringing you in. Again, Mikey, we appreciate you guys hosting us this week. Tune in to the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show every weekday at 11. We'll see how these Survivor picks goes and who comes in on top. I'm taking myself this week. I got to get one.
I'm already in, right? I don't have to. I mean,
no, Survivor. Yeah, you're good. You got a bonus pick. But JJ,
we'll see how I survive.
We'll see.
Which I'm going to survive. No, I'm going to survive.
I do like that pick.
Appreciate you guys tuning in. We'll catch you next week on Wednesday.